Coming to Kindle Unlimited this April, Esteemed Goddess of Hell's Aspiring Angel takes on a demonic dominatrix in this all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteemed Goddess of on Kindle Unlimited or pick up the paperback today. The ISIS graphic novel Indiegogo is live. Help me publish the first comic book featuring the Goddess Next Door by putting in a pledge today. It looks like your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett has been taken out of a hot mess by somebody because all 16 charges as related to the disorderly conduct that were levied by the Chicago prosecutor's office have been dropped. And with the dropping of those charges by the Chicago prosecutor's office, I have to wonder how corrupt the Chicago prosecutor's office is, because when you take a critical look at the evidence presented against your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett, it's clear that there was some sort of crime committed, because when you look at the evidence, it has all the hallmarks of a Hollywood marketing stunt gone wrong, and with the filing of the false police report, there was clearly a felony committed by your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett that could have gotten him locked up in prison. Now, all of this started when your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett supposedly got this threatening letter in the mail that told him that somebody was coming after him. However, his actions just did not fit within the pattern and profile of someone who had been threatened in the mail by a so-called stalker or a so-called attacker. After your FBI and the Los Angeles Police Department were called in, your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett instead makes a photo on Instagram telling everybody, including the so-called stalker, where he's going to be in Chicago. And after going to Chicago, your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett, he doesn't take any security with him after being threatened. And this right there, again, was a red flag for me, because if a man has had his life threatened, you would think the first thing he would do was take some extra security with him. But your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett, he didn't do this. No, he decides that he's going to go to Chicago alone with no security and nobody to look out for him. And then he's going to go outside at 2 o'clock in the morning at night and go out on the street after being threatened. And he's telling on the coldest night of the year. And on this night, he alleges he has been assaulted by two so-called MAGA supporters. And this was the story that your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett was going to create to promote a narrative, whether it be to push his failing show empire or because he felt he wasn't being paid enough. These are the things that he alleges, or as some have alleged, your Kamala Harris and your Cory Booker orchestrated this event to get this so-called anti-lynching bill passed. These are the scenarios that people are alleging, but I personally believe that it was either a marketing stunt to get eyeballs on the declining rate of the show Empire, which has had declining ratings over the year, and because your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett felt that he was entitled to a raise on the show in spite of being paid $65,000 a year per episode. He was being paid $65,000 an episode, but this was not enough money for your Mussy, dusty Jussie Smolett. So he orchestrated this stunt where he would get this threatening letter, but his actions, again, ran counter to this, because any man who had been threatened would either postpone the trip, or they would take extra security, or they would try to avoid going out during dangerous times, like 2 o'clock in the morning at night, like your Smollett is alleged to have gone out at the time he was so-called attacked. Now, what really put a hole in Mussy, dusty Jussie Smollett's story was the fact that in spite of this alleged attack taking place, no video cameras in the area recorded a single incident whatsoever. So he's saying that this assault took place, this supposed homophobic attack by these so-called MAGA supporters, but there were no recordings in the area of that area of Chicago, an area known, like Midtown Manhattan and even parts of the Bronx, to have these cameras all over the place. And one of those cameras would have definitely picked up this assault, because many people who live in Chicago, who are YouTubers, say that area is heavily recorded, and they would have picked up something. But no cameras picked up this so-called assault, and that led to a major hole in your Mussy, Dusty, Jussie Smollett story, a story which fell completely apart once the two Nigerian brothers flipped your Mussy, Dusty, Jussie Smollett and presented evidence that a check for $3,000 by your Mussy, Dusty, Jussie Smollett had been made to them to stage the attack, and video showed them buying the MAGA hats and the noose that was supposed to go around your Mussy, Dusty, Jussie Smollett's neck to choreograph and orchestrate this horrific act of violence, which was designed to polarize people and get them to start hating your Donald Trump and to believe that white racists who were working and supporting Donald Trump were the ones behind this so-called attack on your Mussy, Dusty, Jussie Smollett. And this attack, again, all of it was documented as a so-called alleged assault, but there were other red flags because, one, your Jussie Smollett did not want to give the police his cell phone, and two, your Mussy, Dusty, Jussie Smollett, he did not want to file a police report. Now, someone who had been attacked by so-called MAGA supporters and racists, they would have immediately wanted to surrender their phone, and they would have also wanted to surrender to the police department any information that would help them. They would have wanted to file that police report as soon as possible because they wanted to get this individual off the street. And this was a red flag for me again, because your Jussie Smollett, by not wanting to file that police report, showed that he did not want to get arrested for filing that false police report because he knew the police report was false. And that's where we started to see people starting to see the truth about this case. And that's when we had the police department decide to charge your Jussie Smollett. However, it seems like your prosecutor's office, run by your Kim Foxx, there seems to be a bit of corruption in that prosecutor's office, because all these charges being dropped against Jussie Smollett, this is another red flag, because this is a man who clearly committed a crime and clearly could have gone to jail for a felony, because he filed a false police report. He riled up most of the country, but because he knew that the country did not like Donald Trump, and he was looking to polarize people and capitalize on polarizing people to, one, get people to watch Empire, and two, possibly try to get a raise out of his producer, Lee Daniels, which makes no logical sense because Lee Daniels is a gay man, and you think, again, another gay man would go to another gay man face to face, but he decided to orchestrate this stunt allegedly to get a raise out of Lee Daniels, or the case, as I see it, to try to get this Empire's ratings up, or others have speculated this was supposed to be related to some anti-lynching bill, but it clearly showed how unethical your Jussie Smollett is and how dangerous your Jussie Smollett is, because he was willing to try to polarize people on race just to get attention for himself, and he was willing to put people's lives at risk to get more attention just on himself and on his failing show Empire. And he was willing to commit not only state crimes like filing that false police report, but he was also looking to commit federal crimes as related to the post office. And these crimes, again, it looks like the Chicago prosecutor's office, there might be some corruption there, because for them to drop all charges when there's a clear case of evidence presented against this guy, there's something questionable over there. You have your prosecutor, Kim Foxx, who recused herself in this case. She's going hard after R. Kelly on old allegations, But in a clear case where there was a crime committed in filing this false police report, your Jussie Smollett, he's given a pass and all charges are dropped against him. If that's not corruption, I don't know what is, because when you look at the evidence against your Mussy, Dusty Jussie Smollett, he was a man who should have been prosecuted for a crime he clearly committed. And this is a crime that he committed, again, for the most egregious of reasons, either it be to choreograph this anti-lynching bill, as some have speculated, or to get a raise on a show with a gay black male producer. And this, again, this is a travesty of justice on the level of your Bill Cosby being convicted, and it shows a clear violation of the law, and it shows that we have a prosecutor in the Chicago prosecutor's office and a series of prosecutors who are not making efforts to enforce the law to meet an equal standard. So when I look at what has been done to your Mussy, Dusty Jussie Smollett and how he has been taken out of this hot mess, it shows how much of a hot mess the American legal system is, and how biased it is, and how if you are fitting a certain narrative or pushing a certain agenda, you will get a pass for your criminal behavior. And it's clear to me that your Jussie Smollett has been taken out of a hot mess, and that taking him out of a hot mess just shows us how much of a hot mess Chicago's criminal justice system truly is. If you'd like to help me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.